Hey friends, my name is Calyx and welcome back to my channel. And I want to do some Reddit stuff today. Ugh, ugh. I only have an hour or maybe an hour and a half at the most before my mom comes home to change for exercise class, and then I probably have about an hour after that. So I might just do this right now and do record for about an hour and then just be done for the day and like maybe record some more tomorrow and then post a longer video. Okay. But anyway, I do it. I'm in one of my longer posts right now. I do want to continue reading A Guardian Angel. I have not given up on that. It's just been so long since I've read a chapter. I think it's been like 8 months since I read a chapter the last time that I did, and I want to put out like a few chapters like bang 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 bang, like either all in one video or one right after another on like in separate videos but on the same day or maybe over the next day or two. I don't know. Like I want to just get them all out as close together as I can. So I'm gonna figure out how that's gonna work, but that'll probably be either later in December or maybe even in the new year. Like I'm just going to wait till I'm in a good place, till I'm in a better place than I'm in right now. I'm talking about like mentally, like not just like not physically, like not I can't leave my mom's place. Like I can't I I'm stuck living with my mom. I might get an apartment in the new year, but probably nothing will happen with that. Um, I'll share some more info on that later, but I'm just saying now, it's probably not going to happen. I'm not banking on it, and you guys shouldn't either, even though that would make things easier for my schedule and definitely for my YouTube schedule and for other things, just life in general. Like I can read in total quiet without my mom. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's probably not going to happen. I'll share some more info on that when I know, like, later, because they're gonna get back to us in the new year, and I'll let you guys know what's going on when I know what's going on with the apartment, but, like, there's a very, very, very small chance that I will get an apartment and I can be moved out, but again, I would not count on that, and I would recommend that you guys don't count on that either. For now, I just wanna read some stories, so let's get into some Reddit stuff. So I'm on one of my saved posts right now that, hopefully the ending Uh, damn it. Hopefully the ending will be positive. But for now, because the title is not very nice. He looks like he is dying, and that's a direct quote, I think, from OOP. OOP is concerned about a class pet snake. Okay, so this is their class pet. They have a snake in the classroom, which can be done correctly if you do it well. I don't think that a snake personally should be in a classroom, given just everything that I know about snakes and like that they I don't know. Classrooms are pretty noisy environments for a snake to just be in all the time. And they don't exactly the thing about snakes is they don't exactly like if you got a hamster or something that would need care on the weekends, so you need to get the students to bring it home or whatever, which some teachers I know do. I never had a class pet when I was in like elementary to middle to high school. Actually, when I was in my last couple years of high school, we did have a class pet, but that was in a very different environment and they were 2 guinea pigs and they were actually pretty well taken care of. I mean, the teacher did bathe them and I actually helped her with that. And, then later I learned that you're not actually supposed to bathe guinea pigs, but their care looked like it might not have been as good as I thought it was originally. I don't know. But my point about snakes is they don't need like taken home and care on the weekends. As long as their water's topped up, they're usually pretty good. And the only thing you would really need to do is mist them, especially if it's a ball python or something like that. Like my Kenyan sand boa requires less misting and less of a humid environment than, say, a ball python, for example. Like most snakes require pretty high humidity. Mine doesn't require as high humidity because he's a different type of snake. But like essentially, you don't really need to take the snake home to like keep it to take care of it. Like snakes can be left alone for a few days or up to a week. They don't care if they're handled every day, first of all. Like you can leave a snake alone for days or weeks and they're not going to give a crap. And also, they only need to be fed, like, every week or sometimes every couple of weeks, like, I've been feeding mine every 2 weeks. I reduced his feeding again recently because he's been eating pretty well, and he is getting to an age where I figured I should reduce his feeding a little bit, and I don't know. I'm trying for every 2 weeks right now, so I'm gonna see how that goes over the next few months, and hopefully, if everything is going well, it'll be a good like, I just wanna make sure he's getting fed the ideal amount, but there's so much discerning different information online that you can't exactly know what's right, so I'm just doing what I ultimately feel would be best, and I'm sure and, I'm always learning and getting new information, like, I've been getting new information these last few months about, like, substrate, which I did change out a substrate, and also, like, in particular, like, the humidity gouge and how he needs less humidity than other snakes and how it's fine and how I can mist him every once in a while. Like, I just was asking some questions about the, humidity last night because it was making me nervous, but everything's fine, like, everything I've done so far is fine. People are saying it's fine and making recommendations to me, which I am taking, like, I have foil tape taped up at the top of the enclosure, except I don't have any under the heat lamp because it's not supposed to be under there, it shouldn't be under there. So, I just have a lot of experience with snakes, so I felt like I had to put my 2 cents in, but, like, snakes are one of those pets where you don't need to take care of them on the daily, they don't need, like, daily care. So, realistically, you could leave the snake alone in the class for the weekend, and it would be fine, and maybe you could even leave it alone for stuff like March break, and it would be totally fine, like, they don't need that much care, but the fact that, OOP says he looks like he's dying. Okay, trigger warnings, animal suffering/neglect, and no one on Best of Weather Updates is the original poster, at least I don't think I've seen a single one where the, person who's posting on Best of Writer Updates is the original poster. I don't think you're allowed to upload your own posts onto Best of Writer Updates, actually. Like, I think you just have to, like, see if someone else uploads your post onto Best of Writer Updates, because I think that uploading your own stuff is against the rules. Yeah. Anyway, I wanna see, um, mood spoiler is hopeful, so this is obviously a kid worrying about their class snake. I don't know, but okay, so the original post is from okay, I don't know. It doesn't say where the original post is from, like the subreddit, so I don't know. I don't know much about snakes, but this snake at the school that I work at looks awful. Is this normal? Okay, so I guess this guy's a teacher. I thought he was a student. January 28th, 2023. Oh, the post has actually been deleted. I was trying to look on originally r/ball python. Anyway, this guy's unfortunately a class pet. His tank is very small, looks like a 10-gallon, but I'm not sure. There's no cold or hot spot in the tank. The overall temp is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And then there was something else. Oh, okay. I just tried to go to the picture. If you are looking for an image, it was probably deleted both times, so it won't show me the pictures anymore. So I don't know what happened there. I cannot see the state of the snake. Anyway, OOP continues. His mouth also doesn't shut. I'm not sure if that's a sign of respiratory infection. What do you think? Notable comments from other users responding to the state of the snake. Oh god, that snake is probably close to death, honestly. That's really sad. Another person says, that snake is in the worst condition I've ever seen. And then a third one says, I believe this guy is likely going to die. I've honestly seen healthier ball pythons that were abandoned in parks. This is absolutely shocking. I don't understand how this happens. I can't help but think this was intentional because how do you see a snake even half as bad off and not do anything? His face is so swollen. This is heartbreaking. And I'm the kind of person who will like obsess over the state of my pets. Like, are they okay? Are they healthy? Are they going to be okay? Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I screwing up? Honestly, I'm not like I don't it's just like I don't know, my worries about my snake have consumed a lot for the last few months because of the humidity issues I've been having, but it's totally fine, it's been fine, it's actually fine. People were telling me online today that it was fine, so obviously I got some other information that was wrong. I don't know. I'm constantly looking up more information and working on getting the correct stuff for him and like working on improving my care. I'm really glad I changed out his substrate. Everything looks a lot better now. I think he had a normal shed the last time he shed. Like I haven't seen his shed yet, but he doesn't look I've seen him a few times since then. He looks fine. He doesn't look like he has a stuck shed or anything. One time he was up on top of his rock and I actually sprayed him with a little water. And I also sprayed the inside of the enclosure, just misting it so that if he does have any stuck shed, hopefully he'll be able to get it off himself. But I didn't see any stuck shed actually on him. But people are saying there's stuck shed and that this was intentional. Okay, first of all, 120 gallons is the um recommended like enclosure size, the minimum enclosure size for ball pythons. I just want to make that clear. And some people say 40 gallons or 75 gallons, but no, I really don't think that's right. And I feel like people shouldn't be listening to that. But there was one that I saw for 40 gallons and another recommendation I saw for 75 gallons. And actually, I don't know, it's all just nuts to me. Like, I'm trying to figure, I don't know, like, I feel like keeping the ball python in the 40-gallon is not good. Keeping the ball python in the 75-gallon, it might be a little bit better, but I still feel like it's not very good for them. I don't know. I've seen a lot of different recommendations for enclosure sizes, which can get complicated. And when it comes to reptiles, people really have a lot of contradicting information, or they believe a lot of contradicting information. Like there are some people who swear by, for example, you using loose substrate for bearded dragon. There are others who say it's terrible and it should never be done. But anyway, I can't see any of the pictures of the snake, so I can't say anything about this. And anyway, there's so much. You've got comments and honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's a class pet for young kids. They probably don't wash their hands before handling, and who knows what they touch all day. Yeah, okay. Oh, there was a comment from the mod in this thread, so we're gonna read it. Mod, unprofessional. This post has been locked because there's some misleading or outright harmful advice popping up. OP, if you do end up taking this snake into your custody, even if temporarily, this is the most vital advice you'll need to start rehabilitating them. These are copy pasta comments for related health problems, so forgive any redundancy. 1. The stuck shed. The shedding guide in our welcome post has a lot of information about the cause and treatment for various shedding problems and general dehydration. Our basic care guide has information about raising and maintaining humidity. If you still need help figuring out how to raise your humidity after reading through these guides, you can fill out our enclosure critique questionnaire for more personalized advice. The open 2. The open mouth breathing is very likely due to a respiratory infection. Here's my respiratory infection copy pasta. This treatment can be safely used for a suspected RI. 60% is the bare minimum humidity requirement, and many individual ball pythons need higher humidity than that. Low humidity is the most common cause of RIs in ball pythons. Low humidity leads to dehydration, which causes the mucous membranes to dry out and crack. Bacteria then builds up in the crevices of the irritated membrane and create a respiratory infection. Low temperatures can also contribute to RIs by compromising the snake's immune system. Ball pythons should have a cool side / ambient temperature of 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit and a warm side temperature of 88 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit. If you notice any symptoms of an RI, visible discharge in or around the mouth, abnormally frequent yawning, random wheezing, whistling, clicking sounds, open mouth breathing, etc., keep the enclosure's overall humidity at least 70 to 80%. A humid hide is also an excellent thing to add to the enclosure, but keep in mind that this is not a replacement for adequate humidity throughout the enclosure. You will find some tips for humidity maintenance in our basic care guide. If you still need help, we can guide you through it if you fill out our enclosure critique questionnaire. To relieve the symptoms of an RI and hopefully prevent the infection from getting worse, I suggest steam treatments. You'll need 2 plastic storage tubs, a large bowl, and some water. The first tub should be small but big enough for the snake to fit inside, and the lid should lock to keep the snake contained. Add some air holes to it with a soldering iron, hot knife, or power drill. Side note, this sort of tub is also handy to have as a secure way to contain your snake during enclosure cleanings or transport or etc. The second tub needs to be big enough to fit the small tub plus the bowl. This tub does not need air holes or a locking lid, but it does need a lid to contain the steam. Place the bowl in the small tub inside the big tub. Lock the snake in the small tub. Fill the bowl with boiling water, then close the lid on the big tub. This will create a little snake sauna, and this small tub will keep your snake safely separated from the hot water. Leave the snake in the sauna for 10 to 20 minutes. Do this once per day until all RI symptoms are completely gone. If symptoms don't drastically decrease within 2 days, or if symptoms get worse, or if new symptoms develop, go to the vet ASAP and ask them to do a culture slash provide any necessary antibiotics. A serious RI needs medication in addition to everything I've suggested you. An untreated RI can kill the snake. And then someone else who is apparently also a mod with large scale breeding experience. Yikes, this snake is severely dehydrated. The open mouth could certainly be a sign of an RI or other health concerns. Is there a way you can bring this up to a teacher or other staff member? Okay, we're gonna go find the updates. I want to find the updates. I want to know what happens. Hopefully, the snake is okay. Update on the school pet snake. January 30th, 2023. Hang on. The original post was January 2028. Oh, January 28th, 2023. So this is a couple of days later. Hey everyone, I wanted to start off by saying thank you to everyone for your amazing feedback on my last post. I wanted to give y'all an update. I talked to the teacher who owns him today as I saw him walking out with a snake in his tank. He said he had an appointment to take the snake to the vet that's a couple hours away, and he said he thinks the snake got sick from a kid. I let him know that the snake most likely got sick from the conditions of the tank, and he actually asked me for advice, which was shocking. Although I am not a snake expert, I gladly sent him links to some websites that I found could really help educate him on proper care and to prevent the snake from hopefully ever getting an infection again. I asked if he plans on bringing the snake back, and he says he plans on keeping it at home for now. He said he wants to learn how to properly care for it better before he brings it back to the class. I made sure to tell him to be more serious about the humidity, like you all said, and to make sure he gets a bigger tank. I'm just relieved he let me give him some tips without him being weird about it. I told him to send me updates on the snake and maybe some pictures of it if it gets bigger. Thanks again, guys. You all are amazing humans. I don't know. This is still super upsetting. I'm still super mad about this because how do you not even do research on the basic care of an animal before not only bringing it into your home, but bringing it into a classroom where a bunch of kids are going to see it and think that that's okay, that that's an okay environment for a snake to live in. Kids, they absorb things, whether we want them to or not, whether we think they do or not, they absolutely do. And we don't need them thinking that this is okay to just keep your pet snake like this. Because if they get older and they get a snake and they see it looking like that, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's fine because that's how the teacher kept it. And a lot of times, people can be just straight up. People can be just straight up like not wanting any advice or not caring about what other people have to say. They just shut it down. They don't give a shit because they just don't care about the well-being of the animal. They pretend like they do, but the fact that they won't take any advice from anyone just shows that they like I'm not perfect at taking care of my snake. I had him for over a year and I'm still not perfect. It'll be 2 years since I got him in May. But, like, my point is you need to be willing to work on your care constantly. You need to be working on updating it. You need to be able to hear criticism, constructive criticism, or even you need to work on like hearing constructive criticism and being able to say, oh, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong. I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to change this to to give this animal the best life I can because this is another living creature that depends on me and I want to do the best for it because a snake can't tell you what it needs. So you need to know it's your job to know what it needs and take care of it properly. Like, and yes, a lot of animals do a very good job of hiding that they are sick. I would never judge someone if their pet passed because it was not clear that the pet was sick. Like, if they didn't know the pet was sick because the pet hid it so well and then it freaking passed away. Like, animals are very good at pretending like everything is fine, especially prey animals, because they know if they give away that they are sick, that predators can come to them and find them easier and get them easier. Like, it is not a perfect situation to be in. In many cases, it's a bad situation to be in because your animal will pretend everything's fine and then you won't know why it died. And that sucks. And I would never blame someone for that. But when your snake is in this bad shape, you should know that you fucked up somewhere. And you should do research, at least the most basic research you possibly can before you buy a snake, especially before you display it in a class. Now, getting a bigger enclosure, definitely a good thing. I didn't see anywhere where he said, like, the size of the enclosure was supposed to be. Like, I don't know if this is one of those people who believes 40 or 75 gallons is okay. I still stick to my guns that 120 gallons is the bare minimum because that's what people have been telling me online. And some people are very adamant in standing by their preferred tank size, whether that's 40 or 75 or 120 gallons. Now, I have my Kenyan sand boa in a much smaller tank. As you guys know, I didn't have a whole lot of space in my last apartment, and I also don't have a whole lot of space here, although I do have more space than I had in my old cramped studio, even though I freaking loved that studio. Like, it was a safe haven. It was awesome there. I loved it there. Not gonna get into the landlord stuff, but I did love that studio despite, everything. But yeah, I don't have a lot of space here. My Kenyan sand boa is such a tiny little guy. You he can live comfortably in that 20-gallon for the remainder of his life, but ball pythons, they get way bigger than him. They get way bigger than that little guy. Like the size that he's going to be full grown, that's about the size I think that most baby ball pythons are, or most young ball pythons are at. Like they get very large, therefore they need a much larger enclosure. And a lot of people claim that that space isn't as big a deal with snakes as it is with lizards. I don't see that as being the case. And I've honestly done research on a lot of reptiles, both reptiles that I plan to get, both reptiles that I don't plan to get, simply because I just love researching that stuff and looking at them and learning about all kinds of animals. It's super interesting to me. It's a way I like to spend my time. And I've definitely been doing a lot of particularly crested gecko research recently because I would like to, once I am out of this apartment, be able to save up the money I need and get a crested gecko, like purchase one as a pet for myself. And I want to know exactly what I'm doing. So hopefully, I don't make some mistake somewhere. There's literally videos of 5 mistakes that you should never make with a crested gecko, or things that you should never do for your crested gecko or with your crested gecko. Or, most common mistakes that crested gecko owners make. All that stuff is like super helpful. And we have access these days to a whole wealth of information. So pretty much any question you can ask about anything has an answer on the internet. Like we're in an amazing age where you can get any answer you want at the click of a button within seconds. So there is no excuse for that level of neglect and abuse towards an animal. Additional comment from OOP. I still plan on bringing this up to the principal, though. I know he's taking it to the vet, but I just want to bring attention to this to someone higher up to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen again. Honestly, that's super good. That is super good. Like, I love that. I'm really happy that he's gonna bring it up to the principal because it's really upsetting that something like this happened. I'm glad he seems to be, like, interested in listening to what OP is saying. But anyway, okay, anyway, and then, the comments. Teacher takes the snake out of the school after OOP shows that it looks to be in bad shape, and they asked OOP for snake care tips. Oh, honey. And then someone replies, I mean, that was my first thought. Wait, what am I missing? What is the "Oh, honey" about? I get where you're going, but that's not always the case. Class pets are often dumped on teachers, either by parents who don't want the pet or by a previous teacher. If that person just donated the entire setup, the person currently in charge of the animal may know literally nothing about animals at all, let alone this specific one. They could be genuinely anxious upon realizing how bad the care is and be doing exactly what they said. I've given advice to people in similar situations. An animal is dumped on them by someone they have no idea what they're doing or that the care they were told is substandard. Most of the people I have encountered in that situation, when educated calmly and without judgment, will either surrender the animal to someone who does know what to do or will step up and fix things. But they need to be educated from a point of understanding, not vilified because they don't know. It's hard to understand if you're an animal person, but plenty of people aren't. If they've never had an interest or been taught that they may not know how to recognize signs of neglect or illness, and judging or calling them out won't help the animal. Educating them will. I've been involved in caring for pets other than my own in some capacity for 17 years, including some folks who book me for pet sitting, and then when I come in for the meet and greet, I get a bit of they get a bit of surprise education. In the address prior to their trip, in the vast majority of those cases, very serious concerns get addressed prior to their trip. We're talking a 1 or 2 day average turnaround from education through to an acceptable level of care, or improved with an intent to step up again once they're back. I have a standard plan to follow I follow to educate without judgment, including giving links to websites which talk about proper care for the species in question, and my offer to help shop and set up for free. That's really, really sweet. I know that that's not always the case. I worked at a pet store for a few years and met some of those, but in my experience, it's the majority of folks who do want to care for their pets. They've just been misinformed at some point. Just my experience, though, I do specialize in exotic pets and have for at least 10 of those years. I have not been that qualified or experienced in exotics care. I've only been at this for about a year and a half. Oh no. And then someone says, I had a dog that was not very good in cities and needed to be sent north to a farm. I have to repeatedly explain to folks, no, really, she is on a real farm up north. Oh, are they suggesting he's going to give I don't know what the suggestion is here. I okay, this commenter said, "Oh, honey," and I don't get it. I'm gonna have to fucking just outright ask. I'm gonna have to just outright ask because I don't understand. I don't know, man. Okay, I don't know. I just asked, so if I get a response, I will let you guys know because I really don't understand what the implication is here. Yes, I am that dull. Oh my gosh, okay. Alright, there's another snake story. My snake ate my vibrator and I feel horrible about it. This is also from Best of Redditor updates. I literally went on Best of Redditor updates and searched the word snake, and these are the stories that came out of it. Okay, I got permission from OOP to share. Do not brigade post slight editing for my redundancy. True off my chest. No, this isn't a joke. Yes, I took him to the vet and he is being closely monitored. I will be taking measures to ensure this never happens again. How big is your snake? I have a California king snake named Shadow. That answers that question. And I've had him ever since I was 14. He's quite an active fellow and he loves food, but he's not very smart. And there have been a few times when he has mistaken household objects and people for food. I have been letting him out of his cage recently and been allowing him to explore because I can tell he really enjoys it and it's a good way to keep him in good shape. And by the way, king snakes, if you put another snake in with a king snake, it will eat the snake. That is what they do. They eat everything. Everything is food to them. So this is completely understandable and even more so that it's the species of snake. Anyway, I don't always hover over him when he explores, but I do my best to keep an eye on him. Of course, a few days ago, I slipped up on my surveillance, and he ate something he shouldn't have. While I was blissfully unaware, my snake snuck into the open box of a closed cabinet, where I stored some supplies alongside a tub of my sex toys, and he ate one of them. When I realized I couldn't see him, I found him with a lump in his stomach and one of my bright blue bullet vibrators missing from the tub. I immediately rushed him to the vet. He was given an enema and some lubrication, and the vets were in good spirits. They were laughing about the x-rays and the entire situation and were positive he would get it out okay. Since then, the object has not moved through his system. Aw. We went back today and he was given some more treatments, but he is due for surgery if he cannot push it out by tonight. Aw. The emergency vet bills and surgery will total to nearly $1,000, and I've been trying to crowdfund to help pay for it because it's a lot of money, but I can't help but feel awful and ashamed about it. I know freak accidents happen, and really I don't think my snake has felt too much pain. He's active, alert, showing some discomfort, but otherwise acting quite normal. But I was negligent. I know I should have kept a better eye on him. I knew he has a history of trying to eat random shit he can fit in his mouth, but I had cleaned up whatever I thought he could swallow, and I just wasn't thinking about the cabinet. This specific cabinet is a part to his tank stand, and it has a missing back to it. He's had some curiosity with it before, but I just assumed he was interested in whatever he could smell, and I had always removed him upon realizing he'd snuck inside. I just should have known better. Should have taken precautions. His previous eating random shit incidents were years back, and it wasn't in my mind when I let him free roam. Now I have to answer to my negligence and poor surveillance, and there's nothing I can do to change what happened. My friends are trying to comfort me, reassuring me that everything will be okay and that I'll be laughing about what happened when he's all right. And I just, but I just feel so horrible. I feel horrible trying to crowdfund for his bills because this was my fault. I feel terrible because I wasn't being a responsible owner and there's nothing I can do about it now. He could still die even after the surgery, and it will not be because of improper husbandry, but because of my carelessness and recklessness alone. I love him so much. I love him so much, and I don't want to lose him. I will never forgive myself if he dies because of this. Uh, there was an update. There are no dates on this, by the way, so that's why I didn't read any. Update: my snake ate my vibrator, and I feel horrible about it. Hi, hello. I promised an update, and here it is, albeit a little late. However, I come bearing good news. I made an emergency visit to the vet earlier today and they got him to regurgitate it. He's doing all right, and I got the vibrator back in a soggy bag with some gauze. He's doing well now, although he is probably a little dejected about losing his lunch. He was given a gastrointestinal protective shot and he needs some time to recover before he can eat again. I am working on getting the x-rays, but the specific center is a little preoccupied and it's been hard to get those photos through. However, I do have photographic evidence of his bulge and the little baggie containing the vibe, plus some gauze. If you guys are interested in seeing that, please let me know where I should post the photos. Thank you everyone for cheering me up, keeping me calm, and helping me stay strong. Thank you for taking a part of your day to read and follow along, and I hope this story serves as a cautionary tale and a stupid laugh you can share between friends. Also, no, the vibrator does not work. He broke it. Edit. My vet posted the x-rays on despite me explicitly stating I did not consent to a social media post. Pretty shitty, but hey, I guess I have proof now. And then the final update. People have been asking for proof, and I've been begging my vets to send his x-rays privately to no avail. Now, this is my final post, made a few hours after my previous update was taken down. I did not receive files of his X-rays. Actually, I found out that my vet posted shadow in his case online, completely disregarding consent forms that have in writing that I did not consent to social media posts related to my snake. But now I have some proof to show while I deal with this outside of Reddit. Excuse me. Disclaimer: I have censored and erased all metadata of these photos to the best of my ability. If you somehow come across these images or videos that she has posted, do not attack, harass, or stalk my veterinarian. I do not want anything to happen to her. Accidents happen, and it's aggravating that she disregarded my consent forms, stating that I did not want this to happen, but I will not accept support in abuse towards people that help my snake. I am ultimately grateful that this person and her team did what they could to help my reptile, and I do not condone any negative behavior thrown her way. I was asked for proof, and I will provide it, so I will not hesitate to take this entire story down if I need to. So please behave on my behalf. What is this? Okay, there's a bunch of pictures. We've got pictures of the snake, pictures of the x-rays, a little picture of the uh the vibrator in the bag with the gauze and stuff. Edit, my situation with my vet was resolved. Turns out it was a simple mistake in communication, and the staff was very apologetic and communicative about this issue. And then there's another shadow X-ray linked below. There's more shadow X-rays, and it's literally yeah. The snake is super cute, by the way. Like I love all the different colors and patterns that snakes can come in, and this particular snake is really pretty. It looks like some black and white bands, and he is really, really cute. He's a really he's a really sweet looking snake despite his mischievous side. Like, but yeah. But he looks like an awesome snake and an awesome friend for OP to have. He is a real cutie. I absolutely love my snake too. I'm always being super careful. Like my mom is too. Like she doesn't like candles or incense, which is something that she really, really loves to do. But she doesn't like that stuff because it's bad for my snake, it's bad for my tarantulas, and she gets that and she literally does so much for my pets. Even just letting us live here is like a huge deal. And, she made it clear that she only let me get the snake because she thought this was going to be a temporary living situation. She thought because originally because I was supposed to move out because the landlord was going to like replace the ceilings and all the pipes and stuff, which was great because when I left, my ceiling was leaking and my landlord refused to fix it. But regardless, I was only supposed to move out for a couple months while that was happening. And then obviously things did not turn out that way for reasons that I can't say anything right now. I'll let you guys know everything like after it happens. It could take a long time though, like years, like a couple of years. I don't actually know. But I will give you guys a huge update after everything goes down. I promise. And you can hold me to that. Anyway, I ended up just now I live here. So until I get subsidized housing or possibly an apartment in the new year, but again, probably not gonna happen. I doubt it will. But just regardless, I just ended up that I'm living here now. All right. Mom is on her way home, so I'm gonna shut this video down now. Uh, I'll probably be back either later or tomorrow. My mom said she might skip her exercise class, so I might not even have the option of recording more stuff today. So I might just record more stuff tomorrow. But if I record more stuff tomorrow, I'll then post it. I'm gonna record more stuff and then I'm gonna post this video tomorrow as like a bigger, longer upload because I want to do that. I'm gonna go. But I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself, and I will see all you guys. No, wait. This isn't over yet, so I will be back. See you guys in part. Hey friends, I'm gonna do one more story and then I'm gonna edit this and then I'm gonna upload this video and it might take a little time. I know I said it would be up on Friday. I mean, I posted on Thursday that it'd be up. I posted on Thursday. I was like, new video tomorrow, but it might not because my mom's gonna be home soon and we're planning to watch a movie tonight. So it might be up on either Saturday or Sunday, but it should be up this weekend. I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure it goes up this weekend. It's just I'm going to be kind of busy over the next 2 days, so I'd like to try and get this up. I still might be able to get this up tonight, but if it's too, depending on what time it is afterward I'm watching a movie, I might just need some time to myself and take the rest of the night to myself. And again, I apologize for my nose and there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm not going to keep mentioning it because there's just nothing I can do about it, and I can't fix that, so I don't know. Okay, and then okay, and then we've got a best of Redditor update story. This is all best of Redditor update stuff, by the way. I'm gonna make a longer video for the end of your video. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but I might just do, like, a 5 or 6-hour Reddit video. Like, I keep looking back on the, uh, mm, the 8 hours of Reddit for my 8-year anniversary. I haven't even put part 2 of that out yet. That was back in May, I think, and I haven't put part 2 of that out yet. And I don't know if I'm going to, honestly, at this point. It might just stay part 1 forever, I don't know. Sometimes people put up part 1 of something and they never put up part 2, and I don't wanna be that person, but that was in May, so I don't know. Let me know if you guys still want part 2 of that. If you still want part 2 of that, I can definitely do that. It's just gonna be extremely late to part 2. Okay, and of course, this is not the OP posting here. Will I be the asshole if I don't tell my wife or sister confess to me? Originally posted r/ am I the asshole? Trigger warnings, betrayal, mentions of abuse. The original post is December 10th, 2025, and this is supposedly concluded, so let's check it out. Hello, English is not my first language, so I apologize for any mistakes. Also, this is my first time posting here, and this is a throwaway for obvious reasons. I love when people say, hello, English is not my first language, or I might have bad grammar, and then proceed to write like fucking Shakespeare. Well, my 32 male wife. Okay, hang on. Well, um, I'm a 32 male. My wife, 27 female, has an older sister. We'll call her Annie. She's a 34 female for this post. Annie is currently staying with us after her divorce 4 or so months ago. Apparently, the guy was abusive and a bad person in general. My wife and I were very affectionate with each other, but she asked me to tone it down a little, not to make her sister feel awkward or uncomfortable with us. I agreed, but it's been hard because sometimes I forget and then feel bad that Annie is there watching us. To make the long story short, my wife went to have dinner with her friends on Sunday. She said she invited Annie, but she declined, and she was just letting me know Annie would be home alone when I get there. When I got home, Annie was in the living room in the dark. I turned on the lights and saw she was drinking. She didn't look that great, so I asked if she was feeling okay, but she didn't answer, so I got closer and asked again. She looked at me and said, I love you, and I hate that my sister got the perfect guy. Well, I got stuck with a loser. You know I'm a better fit than her. What? You know I'm a better fit than her, and other things I couldn't decipher. I just told her, don't ever say something like that again, or I'll kick you out, and she started crying. I took her to her room, cleaned all her mess, and got out again. I only came back home once my wife told me she was already there. Okay. Well, Annie's been acting like nothing happened, but I feel she's always looking at me, but maybe it is all in my head. The thing is, I haven't talked to my wife yet, yet, because I know she'd be devastated, and I don't know how she'd react. I'm planning on asking Andy to move out as soon as possible and to just pretend this never happened, but I never lied or hid anything from my wife before. So this doesn't feel right, and I also feel guilty, but I also just want to do what is best for my wife. I don't really care about Annie, but I know my wife does, and this is going to break her heart. So Reddit, will I be the asshole? I don't know. Oof. Oh, I don't know, I don't know. This is so complicated. Okay, edit. After reading all the replies, I decided to talk to my wife today after work. Thank you for the feedback. I really did want to tell my wife, but wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Am I the asshole has no consensus, but OP received mixed reactions of not the assholes and you're the assholes. Relevant or top comments. Commenter one, you 100% need to tell her. What if Annie tells her first and spins it like you came onto her and not vice versa? You would be the asshole if you don't be honest. OOP, I did not think about that. Commenter 2, tell her immediately she needs to know and her sister needs to be cut off. As long as she has active feelings for you, never be alone with her again. Always have someone else there as a witness. You don't know what she might say if it's ever your word against hers. OP, this is the first time we interacted without my wife present. I don't talk much to her because I don't really like that she's always here. Comment 3, tell your wife. Everyone telling you that is 100% correct. You would be the asshole if you don't. If it turns out she really was hitting on you, your wife needs to know anyway, and you also need to protect yourself in case the sister-in-law tries to spin things or otherwise get to your wife first. If it turns out your wife and sister-in-law are cooperating to test you, something I'm surprised nobody else mentioned, then you completely nuke your relationship if you don't tell. It doesn't matter that such tests are unethical. It only matters that people really do these tests and relationships get destroyed because of them, often unfairly. OOP. My wife is not the type that would test me, and the state of my sister in law when I found her, her eyes were barely open. Comment 4. Tell her immediately she needs to know, and your sister needs to be cut off. What? Okay. Comment 4 says literally the exact same thing as comment 2. Like, every single word is exactly the same. Okay. Update December 12th, 2025, 2 days later. The update. This is a little long, so here's a too long didn't read. Talked to my wife. She believed me and kicked her sister out, and we're thinking about couples counseling just in case. I talked to my wife the day I made the post here. I picked her up from her job and we went to a nice restaurant near our house. We were just having fun and relaxing. And after dinner, I told her something along the lines of, I want to tell you something. And it's not that I wanted to hide this on purpose, but it's a situation where I never expected to be involved in, so I didn't know how to react. So please forgive me for not telling you sooner. But the other day, when you were out with your friends and you told me Annie was home alone, I got home before you and she was drinking in the dark. When I asked her if she was okay, she told me she had feelings for me and it's not fair that you get to have the good husband. I ignored what she said, took her upstairs, and cleaned the mess in the living room. The only reason I didn't tell you this before is because I wanted to believe she was just drunk and bitter, but I now realized it was not fair to keep you in the dark about this. While she was understandably upset, and we talked more about it, and she asked if Annie ever made any other comment like that when or if I was ever alone with her. I reassured her that it was the first time, and I never had any inappropriate feelings or thoughts about her sister. She eventually calmed down and told me she trusted me, but she was obviously distressed about the situation. She said she wanted to talk to her sister alone, and she wanted me to drop her off at our house and go wait at my parents'. I agreed, but she also didn't want to kick her sister out on the streets, so I booked an Airbnb for a week for her. I then did what she asked me to. After about 3 hours, my wife called me and asked me to go back home, and I did. When I arrived, Annie was already gone, and my wife was in the couch, all puffy eyes. I hugged her and we went to bed. I just told her, and she cried a little, and then we fell asleep. The next morning, my wife told me Annie tried to pin it on me, and told my wife I was the one who flirted with her and asked her to sleep with me. My wife said she told Annie she already knew the truth, so she better start speaking. Then Annie started crying and telling my wife is not fair that she get to have a great life when she didn't, and that my wife was always copying her and was jealous of her, so why did she end up with a good guy like me? My wife just told her she was never jealous, she admired her, but not anymore. Then she asked Annie to leave and told her that she booked an Airbnb for a week and then she's on her own. My wife blocked Annie everywhere, and we haven't heard from her again. My wife said we are okay, but maybe couples counseling wasn't a bad idea. And I agreed, so now we're looking for a therapist. I'm so glad she's finally gone and we don't have to deal with her again. And so happy my wife trusts me enough to believe me when I talk to her. We're now making arrangements for the holidays and a little bit late, but we're putting up some decorations as well. I want to thank all of you who told me to talk to my wife. I realized I could have lost my marriage for keeping quiet. Relevant or top comments. Commenter 1, good communication and outcome, but why a couples therapist? Your marriage is in good shape. OOP, just in case, I guess. She may feel insecure about what her sister said because I feel like she didn't tell me everything. I don't think it's a bad thing to do. Commenter 2, it is super smart of you guys to go to counseling, even though this ended well between the both of you. Super smart to make sure you're keeping your marriage happy and healthy. Good on you both. Commenter 3, OP, I'm glad you listened to the near unanimous chorus from last time and did the right thing. Her trust in you can only go up from you making it clear that you put her first. Commenter 4, not the asshole. It sounds like your sister-in-law is having trouble coping with her divorce, and that's likely the source of her affection for you. If that helps you, if that helps either you or your wife at all. Sometimes when people are struggling, they displace their feelings or think they feel things for others who offer support when it's not really that at all. That sounds like what's going on with your sister-in-law. Add alcohol to that, and the things people say can get pretty wild. That said, when your sister-in-law doubled down, claiming you were the one trying to initiate things, she lost every last bit of sympathy and understanding. She was envious of her sister and made a conscious, sober decision to try to destroy her sister's marriage while at the same time using you and her sister for shelter and comfort. Regardless of whether or not she stays blocked, this is not someone you or your wife should ever trust again. Your sister in law's behavior went past the point of being upset and moved to disgusting. Please protect yourselves and don't put this woman back in your lives. I'm really, really sorry this happened to you and your wife. It's terrible what your sister in law did, but you both handled it well. Okay, that's it. Who needs enemies with family like that? Yeah, exactly. I know, right? For real. The sad thing is, or perhaps pathetic, pick your poison, is that the sister is her own worst enemy right now. She adds what so many people can only dream of having in difficult and distressing divorce situations. She had a support system, a roof over her head, and family, and she threw it all away. Top to herself sabotage. All this over what she perceived as not fair, like grow up. I deserve nice things, not you. Fuck off with that. My family was like that. I married a good man who, when young, had a promising future. When we did well, they just couldn't stand it. It was all, you so lucky. No, it wasn't luck. It was wise choices. Sister burned all the bridges that day. That is the entire rationale behind the current political climate in the USA right now. A whole group of people think they're entitled to certain things. You're not wrong. My brain has definitely been struggling with the sheer entitlement and delusion that's led to where things are now. I visit the Leopards Ate My Face page, but it's mostly just depressing. And for those of you guys who don't know, Leopards Ate My Face is basically when someone, like, for example, makes up a law, like you're not allowed to run red lights, for example, let's just say that. And then it's like, oh, but I'm allowed to run red lights. It doesn't, like, leopards ate my face is basically, oh, let's have leopards eating faces. No, no, not my face, kind of thing, like rules for thee, not for me, kind of thing. I hope I'm explaining that well. Okay, this is gonna be kind of a shorter one. I think this is gonna be under an hour, but I actually have to go, because I'd like to eat something before my mom gets home, and then I don't know when we're gonna watch a movie. I don't know when my mom's even gonna be home. Like, she could be staying at work late. I don't know exactly what her plan is. I'd like to think she's gonna get home as soon as possible because of our movie, because we're watching a movie tonight, and also just because she wants to start her holidays, and I'd like that too. I'd like to start our holidays together. I have a good, I think, just a little less than a week before she goes away. And then she's going away Christmas Day. We're gonna do chocolate chip pancakes and presents in the morning. And then she's leaving to see my sister. She's staying there for one night overnight. Then she's coming home for like one night. And then she's gonna go back the next day and she's going somewhere else. I don't exactly remember where, Kingston or Elmont or something. I don't know. She's going away for a few days. She's going on like a holiday trip or something, and she's gonna be back. And we're gonna have a couple of more days together, and then she's got to go back to work. So we got a whole time there, and that is going to be it for this video. I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. You are valid. Please don't forget to be good to yourself and others. And I will see you all you guys in the next video. Bye.